Now what you've done is you've gone and gotten a Sharpie. You're going to go ahead and start tracing what you have with the Sharpie. You should be doing this on regular paper. I like to put another piece of paper underneath of it because I'm going to be very upset if your Sharpie marker starts to bleed through. Now, it doesn't have to be Sharpie. It can just be any permanent marker, but don't use just a regular marker because it's not going to work as well. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and I'm going to just trace everything I just drew. But this time, when I'm doing it, I got to make sure that I get things straight. So, like, I went and got a ruler. I'm going to make sure here that these lines here are straight. I want everything to look really nice because this is going to be one of my final parts of this. If you can see on this, I didn't like the pencil marks that I made, so I kind of redid them. You have the right to redo something you don't like. Okay, now I'm done. I've got half my project is finished, and what I'm going to do now is go and get my final paper. This was still just to sketch things out on. So now I'm going to go get my final project. I finished my drawing. I did it in pencil. So okay, let's go back. I had my small sketch, redrew it large on a larger sheet of paper. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my final project paper, which is pretty much the same paper here. Okay, so I've got my white drawing paper. It's got to be white drawing paper because you have to be able to see through it. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this on top of my drawing I did with Sharpies. So now I can see it really well. I know I said you have to do it with Sharpies. It just helps. You can do, if you can draw it with really, really dark black, then you can usually get away with this. But I'm just going to kind of tape it so it doesn't move. And now I'm going to redraw this. And again, I'm going to use my ruler to make sure I get nice straight lines. And it might be hard to see on the camera, but I'm just looking right here at what I already have down. You can see through it because the markers are nice and dark. Now when I'm drawing this, I'm drawing lightly. I might be drawing a little bit dark on this so that you can see it, but I'm going to be going over this later with some markers, so I want to draw lightly. Alright, so now this is done. I've drawn everything. This is my final project. I've got half of it done. So now we have to get the other half on this side. So I'm going to take the tape off. Pick this up. And now I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to shade my pencil all over. Now you don't have to do all of it, but you got to at least go over the lines. Okay, so watch what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to go over the lines that I have. It doesn't have to be everything, but I'm going to do it nice and dark. So let's look at this now. I've gotten all my lines have pencil over them that have kind of just shaded over it. It's very important that you do this on the front. So where I drew with the Sharpie. I'm drawing right on top of that same side because we need to now make this opposite. And you're going to see why I prefer Sharpie over other things, because if you don't make this dark enough, or if it doesn't bleed through, it doesn't work very well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just take this and I'm going to flip it over onto the other side. I'm just going to kind of use this here and make sure that I'm lining up okay. Both sides lining up. This side lines up with this side. Pretty good. And then I'm going to come over here again, tape this down, because now I'm ready to trace. So not only am I looking to see if either side matches up, I want to see that they're matching up right here at the corners. That's really the biggest point. But I also, one of the other ways is to look at the side of the paper, your two sides of the paper lining up. This one looks good. So now I can see through this paper. I'm on the opposite side. I flipped it. So I'm just going to go ahead and trace, and you guys are going to see what this is going to end up looking like. I'm just going over the lines that I see here. Now I'm done. I went and I traced everything I had on this side. So now it's time for me to take this off of here. And now I've got to make sure that I come in and just clean it up a little bit. I can see there was a little part here where the hill was off a little bit. So now I'm just going to clean it up. Alright, this looks pretty good. I've got two sides that are exactly the same. So everything on this side is the same that's on this side. The last thing that I'm going to want to do is I want to put a sun in here, and I want to make it a circle. You're going to want to make sure it's a perfect circle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my center of my thing right here. I'm going to put it right where the center is, right where the middle is. And then I'm just going to draw my half circle. So make sure I get a nice circle. Okay, I'm done. This should be the next step that you are doing. I don't know if you were able to get it all done in one day, but you can always revisit this video if you forget what you're supposed to do next. So here you go. You've drawn it. You've got two sides. Go ahead and get started, and then we'll move on to the next part, which is coloring it.